Hello again, and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Field of 8 now set for the Preakness 149 this Saturday at Pimlico Racetrack. I've already posted a full preview show with the race replays and analysis and everything like that. Obviously, the big news is Bob Baffert's 3-year-old Arkansas Derby champion Muth has scratched out due to a spiked upgrade fever. So we'll have one less and now probably a little more wide open race, so to speak. The 8-5 favorite is gone. So we're going to narrow down the field using past performances, come up with a little bit more definitive picks. Also included in this video is going to be bonus time Black-Eyed Susan for the 3-year-old fillies. That will run on Friday. So make sure you stay engaged throughout the video. I'll have the selections for both of those races at the end. We're going to cover weather, deep dive into some past performance figures that most handicappers probably overlook. And so I wanted to start doing like not really educational stuff, but just start pointing out some other things that, there's like 5 things that everybody looks at on a racing form or a past performance. But these are some that people might not look at right away, especially comes in handy on an off track, which we anticipate we'll have. So you can obviously still use the Derby playlist, Oaks playlist. They've got past performances, race replays, all that kind of stuff for the road leading up to where we're at now. Another important race going on this week is the race to 2,000 subscribers for yours truly. We are so close. We're about 50 away. We're going to need a Sierra Leone type of close to get it done by this weekend, but I feel more than confident that we'll have it done like my original goal at the end of Belmont. Things have kind of tapered off after people went through Derby hangover. I went through Derby hangover. It took me 3 or 4 days just to start looking at content again. So we'll let that one slide for the fans of Old Billy Ho there. And we're going to ask you to click that subscribe button if you have not done so. Very important. Give us a like, as always, much appreciated. And in the comments section, give us, your picks and your plays and all that kind of good stuff. Any kind of information, or if you have a question, just shoot. And we're off. So like I said previously, final segment, we'll have selections for the both the races. I'm probably going to just kind of streamline the past performances together and then bounce around a little bit that way. But the first, we're doing the Preakness. It will run mile and 3/16 Pimlico Dirt, race 13 on your card, Saturday, post time around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. The weather forecast obviously looks kind of the polar opposite from the Derby. Black-Eyed Susan Day looks pretty good for Friday, but the risk of rain shows up early a.m. Saturday and lasts throughout the weekend. I mean, it looks like it's just going to be raining all day. Not super heavy, but probably enough rain to make them seal the track. So I'm expecting sloppy sealed, high probability of some sort of off track, obviously. So like I said, the preview video is out there. We're going to probably not see any race replays from the Preakness, but I do have a couple of races for a Black-Eyed Susan that I'll probably show you just as we're going through the past performances there. So we're going to run through the field, eliminate a few horses, look at the past performances, and let's get after it. So number 1, Mugatu, I believe, is going to be a toss for me. The rail post is fine, which is winning at a really high clip, but he's not fast enough to get out front, in my opinion. I feel like it's speed. Even if it's sloppy sealed, I still feel like front runners are going to get there. Kind of like if you remember way back to Parks Racing when they ran the Pennsylvania Derby, Saudi Crown got out front and went wire to wire in the slop. So I think the slop can sometimes favor front runners because they settle in front and set reasonable fractions. And then it's hard to close on wet surfaces sometimes. So, Uncle Heavy, Robert Reed trains. They get Irad Ortiz to ride. That's a big upgrade at jockey. Maybe they can get him out faster, get him closer to the pace. The race I did want to look back at that I found very interesting, speaking of Parks, he went a mile and 70 at Parks on December 27th. It was good, so to speak, which is a rating that is just still drying out from the rain, but not really standing water. But it's still an off track considered. So I like the way he moved on the track around the turn when he was called upon to do so. So I think that he'll be a live long shot to crash the board. So that brings us to Catching Freedom, number 3. That's Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt. So glad to have this one in the race. That means he's doing well. He's happy. He's eating all that stuff. He showed up well at the Derby, showed up well in the slop at Fairgrounds in the Risen Star. Should be closer to the pace. Definite win contender. Can he handle the 2 weeks off? That's the question we're going to have to ask ourselves as these horses coming in. And like our next one, Skip, number 4, Muth, scratched. Number 5, Mystic Dan, Kenny McPeak, Brian Hernandez. Brian Hernandez not paying for any dinners with his trainer for a long time after giving his long-awaited trainer not only the Derby but the Oaks as well, riding Torpedo Anna. Mystic Dan has won big in the mud. We've seen that. He has a shot to repeat. He's a definite contender. Sees the Gray, ridden by Jamie Torres. He beat a pretty good Pat Day field featuring a horse named Nash. But Nash really kind of, after he got beat by Track Phantom way back in December, really hadn't been the same. He did win a big sprint race not too long ago, but he got upended in the Pat Day Mile by Seize the Gray. I'm skeptical that the 9.5 furlong, I believe it's 9.5 furlong distance, Seize the Gray will get. B, not be up to the task after the 2 week off. So I got to start taking some stands. I'm probably going to stand against Seize the Gray. Just Steel, I feel the same way with D. Wayne. I feel like this horse has just ran too much. The last time he came off a short break, he flopped. So underperformed 2 different times in the same month. It's happened. And so another short break here. That tells me, and he's ran so much, he's never actually had a layoff in his career. 13th start coming up. Toss. Tuscan Gold, another Enigma type horse. 56-day layoff. Chad Brown trains. Tyler Gaffleone will get the mount. Effort looked good to me in the Louisiana Derby. He ran really hard down the stretch. He just got beat by the 2 outside horses, which I've mentioned in previous videos. Those were Honor Marie and obviously Catching Freedom. So Brown indicated he didn't like the ride that Tyler Gaffleone gave him that day. So I'm not really sure where the mistakes were made. Maybe he just sent him too early, or the positioning wise early on, I think was maybe his main beef. I'm not really completely recalling what it was said, but he's still a wild card. Is he ready to step up for the grade 1 win? What has he done over the layoff? He didn't look like the works looked all that impressive to me. I'm not a big works guy anyway, just as long as they're maintaining fitness, that kind of thing. This is the kind of time of the year for a 3-year-old to grow. They can hit a big spurt in a 56-day window. So he may come out here and just blow them all out. I don't know. So we'll have to see. Like I said, he's a wild card. But I think his best stuff is coming in the summer. And for some reason, the Ohio Derby keeps coming to my mind, that he's going to go out there and win the Ohio Derby. So I don't know if that's prognostication or not, but he may actually be ending up in the Belmont. I don't know where he'll go, but I just thought that seemed like a really good spot for him to land. Number 9 is Imagination. That's Bob Baffert and Frankie Dettori looking for the flying dismount today. I liked his fight down the stretch in his last 2 races, but this is going to be the farthest he's gone to date. He lost the lead in the Santa Anita Derby, but then he fought back to close to within a neck of Stronghold in that one. The previous race, he actually briefly lost the lead, but he fought back to get the win in that race. He kind of reminds me of that National Treasure type of run in this race where he's going to get out front and then nobody's going to catch him. If you remember, Blazing Sevens was going past him and National Treasure fought back and took the lead back and won the race. So 5 or 6 to 1 will be a very nice value. So let's take a look at past performances. Okay, so I have narrowed my selection down to about 6 horses. We'll finalize, and I'm going to show you these stats. They come in handy. Like I said, Mugatu's out. I like Uncle Heavy. I've kind of indicated who I like and who I don't throughout the video. But what I wanted to show you is this. I believe it was Muth is the example. Even though he's not in the race, the stats are the stats. But these sire stats and dam stats in for mud, 16%. So basically, what it amounts to is most land in this 14 to 18% range, but you're looking for 18% or higher. But what you want to look for is the lower amount of starts. See, that's only 121 starts. That's what you're looking for. So that's basically 15 horses have won in the mud out of 121 starts. So that's kind of what you're looking at with that one. The AWD is average win distance, and that is kind of similar to a dosage index. Like 7.5 and higher indicates that a stallion passed on stamina, and fewer than 6.5 indicates more sprinter. So you can see he's right there at that middle number for a little bit of both. So that's probably kind of like your sweet spot, I guess. So like Mystic Dan is a 6.5. So that's kind of indicating more of a sprinter. So this could be interesting, but we know he got the 1.25 miles, no problem. So 1 3/16 miles, but he's coming off 2 weeks rest. So will that matter? But like 1,154 starts, I don't get the 12% because that I'm not doing the math on that. But Seize the Gray had the biggest interesting one, 23% mud, just 197 starts. So that is a really, really high indicator of success in the slop. Then this other one was this SPI over here, which is a sire production index. The average is 1.0. So 1.5 and higher is positive. So you can see he's 2.7 SPI, which is solid. Now, these are all just kind of like extra stats that might kind of keen you on a horse that you already liked. I don't use them maybe as a tiebreaker kind of thing. Like I said, off track capabilities. So, you had other horses like Just Steel. I put up a Just Steel Imagination. They all had pretty good numbers in the mud department as far as starts and whatnot in Imagination. But see, that's just 18%. You can't really get anything from that. But more of a sprinter, see 6.8 is leaning that direction. So, but so the distance could be interesting because he hasn't been farther than 1.125 miles. So, is sired by Into Mischief, which is a great stallion. So, anyway, Uncle Heavy, like I said, is one that I'm going to get into. I like the way he ran. So I do think that the pace of the race is one of my key things, and I've explained that before. Like the plus numbers are faster paces, but you want to see plus 15 or higher for it to indicate a fast pace. +7 and +6 is pretty just like an honest pace, I consider. When you get into the negative numbers, like zero, like -4 and greater, like see +16, that's fast. You see it's a 22-second quarter mile, 44 half mile. Even for a mile distance, that's fast. So you get up here a little more, and there's a -7. That's a little bit slower pace for a 7 furlong race at Santa Anita. Believe it or not, 45-second half is a little bit on the slower side in the San Vicente for Muth. So those are just a few stats that I wanted to point out before we jump over to Black Eyed Susan, which is this race right here. That's a 1.125 miles, 3-year-old fillies, Black Eyed Susan. So I've already narrowed it down, but so if you're French, this is pronounced Jean Marie, and if you're American, I guess it's Jean Marie. But anyway, she's a toss. She looks like she wants the early lead, but I don't think she's going to hang around. Number 2, Ringy Dingy, is another toss for me. Obviously, the lacking in class, stamina, poor speed figures. Lemon Muffin, I kind of feel the same way about. I was really impressed with the way she won this Honeybee, but then she just crashed back to earth, lost by 10, lost by 17, dipped in the speed figures. Can't really handle much of. I think we'll get an honest pace, but I don't think it's going to be like +17, +12, or anything of that nature. I think it'll be more of your +4, +5 range. So I still don't think Lemon Muffin keeps up in this one. This one's interesting. Call Another Play. Local horse runs out of Laurel Park. very fast, 3 straight wins, including the first stakes victory of the Weber City Miss. And she defeated Jean Marie in this race. So she's won and come out of races the winner and raced against some pretty decent optional claiming company N1X and whatnot. So, but this is going to be a major jump in class, so it'll be a stretch. Gun Song is number 5. This is the one I had pegged for the Gulfstream Park Oaks, but there were several things that might have happened. She hadn't been 2 turns, so I don't know if she struggled going 2 turns. I don't know if being off Lasix had a problem or she just had a bad day altogether. Her dam's a sprinter, Nicole. So it's kind of tough call for her because she was engaged around the turn into the stretch, but just kind of gave it up going the extra 16th. So she's going to have to prove it, I guess. But interesting horse, sired by Gunrunner, one of my favorites. That's number 6. Who Could Ask for Mo? Pretty solid run, even though it got beat by 10 lengths in the Gazelle. But that was Where's My Ring, who actually wheeled back and finished 10th in the Oaks. But Regulatory Risk actually ran decently well in the Oaks. But she got a 93 Brisnet rating, which is her highest. Most of them have been in the high 70s, low 80s. And so if she keeps this 93 number up, she might be interesting. Uncle Mo, sire. So interesting. Shug McGahee puts blinkers on, which might help her get engaged a little faster rather than waiting. And maybe she's just waiting too late to make her move. So maybe she moves a little sooner and she's going to be in it. Now, this is probably my top choice here. Corposo. It's Peter Yurton, Tyler Gaffleone, Will Ride. Really, really solid, even though he got beat by 8 lengths in this Santa Anita Oaks. Basically, Kenza was the horse to beat in that race. Massive, like 2-5 odds. They hit the turn, and Corposo is pressing Kenza. And it looks like those two go into a speed duel. But then all of a sudden, the inside opens up, and Nothing Like You, the one horse, just finds this Mystic Dan burst of speed through the inside rail and just popped out and got 3 or 4 lengths ahead of Kenza. It was almost like she didn't know what hit her, and she didn't have any chance after that. So I don't think Nothing Like You is going to pull a fast one like that on Kenza again if they meet up. But it was a good victory for that horse, and I thought it was a good telling race for Corposo. Just coming off his maiden breaker, or her maiden breaker, looking sharp, working Vino Rosso sire. So I really, really like that one. So basically what we're going to get into is the selections. So let's take a look there. So first off, my selections for the Black-Eyed Susan, I like the number 7, Corposo on top. That's going to be a win bet for Money Back Special. Then I think spreading underneath with the 5 Gun Song, the 8 Recharge, and the number 4 Call Another Play. And then number 6, Who Could Ask for Mo? I think I did fail to mention Recharge, but that's also sired by Gunrunner. Solid looking filly, but I don't know that she's going to be that much involved. She did run 5th in the fantasy grade 2. She went up against Torpedo Anna in that race, which, you know, everybody seems to be getting beat by Torpedo Anna. She was kind of long odds and hadn't raced in 48 days. But I do like Asmussen, who's really one of the top with the fillies. So that's a good shot there. So that's why I have Recharge in the mix on that one. So to polish it off, there's 3 things about the Preakness you can't have all 3, right? I want to see Catching Freedom run a big race. I really would like to see Catching Freedom, my heart, I guess, with Brad Cox. I also would like to see Mystic Dan win to get the second leg of the Triple Crown so we can have even more interest in the Belmont. And then obviously Imagination, I feel like, has the opportunity to go wire to wire, kind of similar to what National Treasure did. So I'm not sure where I put Tuscan Gold. I originally had this trifecta of putting 359 on top, and then like Tuscan Gold, Seize the Gray, Uncle Heavy, Horses Underneath, like a 50-cent try, spend about $30, something of that nature. But I like Uncle Heavy to hit the board. I might even put some like place and show money on Uncle Heavy if his odds get up high enough. Cause I think, if he pays 10 or $12 to show, then that's going to be better than what the winner pays if Mystic Dan wins at 5-2. So anyway, I'm going to make the number 9 my pick, Imagination to win. I think his speed is enough to outlast the field in this at this distance. He showed me in 2 previous races his fight down the stretch. One, he got the lead back and won the race. The other one, he grudgingly gave up the lead and lost a stronghold at the tail end. So that's going to do it for the show. Best of luck this weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Race to 2K. Let's get it done, and we'll see you soon.